Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the abridged edition of Gulfstream today. Ron Nicoletti along with Ashley Mayu. Ashley, we got a couple of minutes to get through this show. The fast main track, and the big reason, of course, they took them off the turf today late. They were trying to keep them on the turf, so we didn't get the scratches late. So you can understand, we're just trying to make sure everybody is safe and has a good day today. So with that said, early pick 5, let's go right into that ticket.
Looking at my ticket, obviously had to make some adjustments just because race 5 was on the turf. In the opener, we have 2-year-old state-bred maiden special weight company going 5.5. Not sure how you saw the race specifically, Ron. I thought it was kind of a 2-horse race between the 3 Cajun's Magic and the 6 556 Champ, but I still did use a first-time starter on the rail out of a barn that's doing quite well this meet. Eye on the Candy. To me, Cajun Magic, Cajun Breeze is one of the Mike Yates barn. He just does tremendous work with horses, young horses in second time out. Race 2, kind of looking at this complexion of this race, a lot of scratches in here. I use the number 7, Excalibur, who typically kind of has a case of seconitis, looking at his record this year, as well as the number 8, Malibu Mandate. Race 3, just too deep in here. I use the number 1, Bahamian Beauty, as well as the number 7, Science, who is 8-5 on the morning line. I think is going to be maybe even lower than that in this spot today. Race 4, 2 horses, the number 2, 11 Livin', and the 8, Sweet Actress. Had to switch my picks there a little bit. And then in race 5, I go 3 deep in here. I use the number 2, Not So Easy, the 3, Feeling Dangerous. But my top pick in here still kind of debated in here. I still use the number 5, Farmstrong, who I was hoping was going to be on the dirt. Broke his maiden last time out, but should say I was hoping he was going to be on the turf, but now on the dirt today.
We're currently up there 4-5. It's Cajun's Magic. We're going to go back and show you this horse's last race. We're going to pick it up in, just momentarily from the 8th pole home when Cajun's Magic tries to reel in the 3-5 favorite in that day, and that is of a Revolution. So we can quickly show you that. You're going to see that. I thought it was a really good performance, for 7-1 in that performance. And of a Revolution, you would think it was over now, but I like the way this horse fought back to be second in that race. And, of course, I think it's a little easier spot today. And as you mentioned at the top, Mike Yates just does an incredible job with these Cajun Magics.
Yeah, we have a trainer stat to show quickly for Mike Yates in terms of these horses, kind of seeing how he does with maidens second time out that were in the money in their debut the past 3 years. 31% is the win percentage in the money, double that 62% of the time with a $2.36 ROI. The only other thing I'll say, you see that number, you also see this is a son of Cajun Breeze, who's 20% in terms of wins with 2-year-olds. And when you kind of look at the average, it's usually only 12% for stallions, so pretty strong numbers.
Your number 6, 556 Champ, stretching out, rally to finish second in front of that next out winner, Lightning Larry, in its debut, going 4.5 for Dave Brady with Edgar Zayas in the saddle. Let's go right to race number 2 this afternoon. It's a mile claimer, 3-year-olds and up, non-winners of 2 in life. I went with the number 8 here, Malibu Mandate, who's second at this level in distance, a couple of starts back. Drops, responded in the first race after the claim by Jesus Lander. Chase and fade outing against a little tougher in the mud last time out.
It was tougher competition. You mentioned it was a muddy track going a mile. So when you look at the races before that, from anywhere to 5.5 to the mile distance, he's fared well over the fast-made track. So in my opinion, might be one of the ones to beat in here.
And the number 7, Excalibur, moves to the Mark Paisley barn after the claim, looking to recapture the form he displayed, coming within the nose of notching this condition 2 starts back. That was a pretty good race.
Was a pretty good race. I'll just say my reservations about him is his record here at Gulfstream Park. He's 0-14.
Well, let's go right and take a look at today's pick 6 this afternoon, which starts in race number 7. And this one is a 5-furlong race originally scheduled for the grass to be run on the main track, fast main track today. And there you see my $43.20 ticket. I did go with the number 5, DeLonga, Jay's Indian Charm, who I think is a major player in there, and the Great Cat. And you see the rest of the progression. Of course, races 10 and 11 today. What a great couple of races we have in there. The Smile Sprint, I went with Diamond Oops in there in race number 10, but I used Miles Ahead. Keep scaring me, that horse, Frosted Grace. I like Cece in there in the Stilio Italiano in on my ticket in there, and 3 deep in the final. But those races are very competitive. It'll be interesting to see which way you go. In this opening leg, I did go with DeLongo, who's wheeling back after responding to a drop down in competition. Well meant second at this level and distance, albeit on the turf. I just think this horse will run well for Gilberto Zerpa, and Jay's Indian Charm too might have a shot.
Yeah, I thought these were kind of the top 2 that stood out. You meant DeLong Nega, kind of looking at the performances. 3 of the 7 career wins, they've been over the dirt, so I don't have any reservations about the surface. Most recent race was on the turf, but it was pretty strong. And then you mentioned the number 6, Jay's Indian Charm. I have a feeling the connections were hoping that this race would be moved off. The horse only had one race locally on the turf, missed the board, but look at the last couple races on the dirt. They've been really strong.
A while back, of course, this ran, it was, I think, September 9th, but certainly 2020 looks like this is an 8-time winner, I believe, on the dirt. Race number 8 this afternoon, a mile claim of 3 and up, $6,250. And I went with the 5, and so did you, Candy Crush. I was hoping to bounce back today, followed that victory at this level and distance 2 starts back. Third, as the favorite last out, it's the old bounce rebound angle for me.
I hope so, because 2 starts back, I didn't use Candy Crush him. I touted him last time out, and it didn't work out so well. Dark Ages was able to get the jump over him last time out, was able to draw clear by a length. We both used this one in second in here, but I just think when you look at Candy Crush's kind of record and resume at this level, should be tough in this spot.
In the number 4, Capote goes to the Jorge Delgado Bunny. Just wanted to throw that out. He's 32% with new claims, so certainly a horse you might want to use on your ticket. Race number 9, originally scheduled for the turf at 7.5 furlongs. These are claimers 3 and up. Now going to be run at 7 on the main track. And I thought Financial System 2 was the right one in there. Dropping to the 12.5 level, turning back to 7 on the dirt. Led every step of the way to defeat 16 maidens, going a mile on the turf. It's 1 on the dirt in the past.
Has 1 on the dirt and has picked up some minor shares as well, a 3rd and the 4th. You can see most recently on the dirt, it was all the way back in November over the slop at Aqueduct, finished 4th, beaten by 7.5. The recent form's been great, 2 wins already this year. So I liked this horse on the turf. Still going to use this horse on top on the dirt, and you have to like that workout on June 26th.
Well, let's take a look quickly at your pick 4 ticket, too.
So you kind of mentioned this race. I mean, I do use the number 7 Financial System. I also use Philo, who I never thought I would use on the dirt, but might be okay here. 3 wins on the dirt, as well as the number 3, Not So Subtle. Race 10, I go too deep in here. I also love Diamond Oops in this spot, and I also will use the number 8, Miles Ahead. So we're kind of on the same page there in race 10. Race 11 is the grade 2 Princess Rooney, a win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. I went 3 deep in here. I think CC is probably my top pick in here. You know, I had to make a decision, so was my top pick. Also used 2 other runners in there. And then to wrap things up, I thought this race was kind of wide open now, moving to the main track. I used the number 8, Jarlian, as well as the number 10, Campador, who was my top pick on the turf. And then looking at the main track onlys, both drew in. I went the number 16, Gurr.
Okay. Race 10 is the Smile Sprint Invitational Grade 3 event. Pretty nice race. Let's go back and show you Diamond Oops and Miles Ahead last time out in the Hollywood Lakes. And you can see there's Diamond Oops to number 4 and Miles Ahead. And I thought that Miles Ahead made a great move along the inside to get up in here. And then you see Diamond Oops on the outside. And the word was from the barn that this was the horse's first race back. Thought maybe he needed a race. And this horse was just so game coming through the stretch to get up and beat Miles Ahead today. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be betting, Safi's horse in here, Chanson, but I just went, preferred Diamond Oops this afternoon.
I prefer these two because when you look at that race here on June 5th, I don't really know if you can take away from Miles Ahead. It was still a good performance as well. And Diamond Oops, it was only the 2nd start since December, was getting back on the dirt, had a huge performance, a 95 Beyer speed figure, which has been one of his best out of his last couple. And you just look at what he's faced. He's faced some really tough horses. But from there, we kind of went in similar directions. You mentioned the number 4, Chance It, also the 1, Frosted Grace out of the Kathy Ritvo barn. Couple options in here underneath.
Yeah, Frosted Grace is back home, shipped up to Pimlico and finished that trouble starting 3rd. This horse ran very well in the Grade 3 Maryland Sprint for Kathy. And, she's got a bunch of horses in this race, Our Nation on Parade, Double Crown. So she's got a full field in here this afternoon. So we'll see how they run. Javier Castellano will be on Frosted Grace. And by the way, Diamond Oops will be ridden today by Florent Geroux. So that's interesting. The big one today is the 7 furlongs, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, $350,000. Winning, you're in the Princess Rooney Invitational. Let's go back and show you the reason I picked this race. This is CC's comeback performing at Santa Anita at this 7 furlong distance. And this is a nice race. Just watch this horse on the inside. The horse doesn't have anywhere to go really right now. And all of a sudden, threads the needle and just explodes in the stretch.
Yeah, and she gets that win at 7 furlongs, and you mentioned her, kind of look at that race, her comeback win. I like that it was at the 7 furlong distance because you look at her other races, they tried her at a mile and a 16th, a mile and an eighth, and she still ran great, but she was really impressive in this performance. And then last time out, they tried her in grade 2 competition, but it was going longer.
Yeah, she had some trouble in that race. The one horse, I mean, he comes off a really nice victory in the sloppy main track in the Bed of Roses. That is Estilio Talentoso, who's a grade 1 stakes place at 7 furlong.
Graded stakes place at 7 furlongs, 7 for 7 in the money at the distance, 5 of which have been runner-up finishes, and I think maybe that's part of our logic here as well. We both like CC, but this one seems to kind of be around for the minor shares, but an impressive record under her belt. Really hasn't missed the board in her career, and she's over $400,000 in purse earnings. So you have to like her off a recent form coming in here with that win.
I got to talk about Pacific Gale in here, who won both the Grade 2 Inside Information and Grade 3 Hurricane Birdie here. She won those races off they hadn't won in 2 years. Let's go back and visit Pacific Gale. We're going to show her turning for home, springing the 16-1 upset in the Grade 2 Inside Information. And like I said, hadn't been to the winner's circle in a long, long time and was able to run. If you want a horse for course, comes back and down here and wins 2 graded stakes for John Kimmel.
I know, a bad set of twos there, 2 years without a win, but had those 2 graded stakes wins. And you see horses sometimes, they kind of lose form for a bit, but she seems to be in her best form as of recent, probably the last 2 years, has those 2 wins. Thought last time out she did fall a little flat in that race that we already talked about, Bed of Roses, but even 2 starts back in the Vagrancy. That was going 6.5. She was third behind Victim of Love and Sadie Lady.
Just a touch on the last race. I kept Campeador on my top of my ticket to 10, but I can understand using the number. So you did too. So and Guru on the ticket, entered for the main track for Kathleen, and that's all I had to say.
Well, I saw that, Kathleen O'Connell, and that speaks volumes. But I also saw the equipment change, blinkers on, and then medication. Going to get Lasix today. It is a 4-year-old. Maybe took him a little bit to get to the races. He was a pricey purchase back in 2018, and I know he hasn't shown too much in his start so far. But when you look at the race at Tampa against $25,000 maiden claimers, it was definitely better than last time out, which was against tougher. So maybe a new barn, change of scenery will help this one.
Well, we have the lightning handicapping show. We're going to turn it over right now to the lightning round of this afternoon, and we're going to start it off in here with the field for tomorrow's stakes race, the Bob Humphrey Turf Sprint. And Bob Humphrey, an old friend of mine, passed a few years ago. He sort of invented the some of the speed. So they're a pretty nice field, and wide open. Caribou Club. I hope I can get the price on the horse I get in here, and that is Ete Indienne. This horse won the Fountain of Youth, won its debut going 5 on the grass. This, of course, 5 on the grass. I think Ete Indienne, if 9-2, I'm going to the bank and bet that one.
We mentioned we've seen him on the dirt going long. He's been impressive. Now going to kind of go back to his origins where he started sprinting on the turf. I don't know if we're going to get 9-2. I'm going to ruin that for you right now. But then you see Caribou Club, who returned to the winner's circle here not too long ago. I think he probably will be up there in terms of favoritism. But big field tomorrow. It's $100,000 on the line, so it should be an exciting race.
And our sister track, Pimlico, still tomorrow, Sunday, mandatory payout on 4th of July in the Rainbow Six. They're expecting $1.4 million or thereabouts already in the pool.
I feel like tomorrow's a holiday. I may have to play the Rainbow Six here and this one because that's a lot of money on the line on the holiday.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And another one is Antonio Sano, our regular mainstay. He had 3 winners. We're going to pick up a race of his. I just thought this was a good performance last time on Miss Malakia. Just won for fun, and this was his 3rd victory on the card.
3 wins. I mean, the barn isn't one of those barns, too. Once they get momentum, they kind of stay alive. I was kind of looking at his horses. I liked one today. It scratched, unfortunately, but big performance for this one. I think that's 2 in a row for Miss Michaela.
And then we have a sad passing. But a horse got to live a great life at 32-year-olds, and that is Arazi. And Arazi, just an incredible horse there. You see a picture of it. That was winning the, I believe, the Breeders' Cup that day, the Breeders' Cup Sprint. And if you go back and listen to the performance, Tom Durkin was the caller right then. He couldn't believe this horse just blew by the competition. Of course, we know Arazi came here in 1992 to run in the Breeders' Cup mile, I believe, and didn't fare as well. So just an incredible horse. So 32 years old, that's pretty good.
Mentioned won the juvenile, made the last career start here at Gulfstream Park, which is a bit disappointing, but also was a participant in the Kentucky Derby. But you mentioned the age. I think that's the most shocking thing. 32 is pretty old for a racehorse. So it was a good racehorse on the track and got to live out many days in the pasture as well.
Well, we did it.
We did it.
We did.
It's over.
In 20 minutes, it's over. We'll be back for the first race.